Snow White. Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom surrounded by snowy mountains and deep enchanted forests, there lived a princess named Snow White. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips as red as roses, and her hair as dark as the midnight sky. Snow White was kind to everyone she met. Birds rested peacefully on her hands. Little animals followed her through the gardens, and her gentle laughter filled the castle with warmth. But living in the castle was someone whose heart was filled with jealousy: the queen. Every morning, the queen stood before her magical mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every morning the mirror replied, "You, my queen." But one winter evening, everything changed. The mirror answered, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen's face filled with rage. Jealousy grew inside her heart like a storm. She ordered a huntsman to take Snow White deep into the forest and never let her return. But when the huntsman saw how innocent and frightened Snow White was, he could not harm her. "Run," he told her softly. "Run far away and never come back." Snow White hurried through the dark forest as the wind whispered through the trees around her. Owls watched from above, moonlight slipped between the branches, and tiny animals quietly guided her through the woods. At last, deep in the forest, Snow White discovered a tiny, glowing cottage. Inside were 7 tiny chairs, 7 tiny bowls, and 7 tiny beds. Tired and afraid, Snow White curled up gently across the little beds and fell asleep. A little while later, the 7 dwarfs returned home from working in the mountains. "Someone's been here." But when they saw Snow White sleeping peacefully, they felt only kindness in their hearts. Snow White soon became part of their little family. She cooked warm meals, sang cheerful songs, and filled the cottage with laughter and joy. But far away in the castle, the magical mirror revealed the truth to the queen. Snow White still lives. Furious, the queen disguised herself as an old woman and traveled deep into the forest carrying a shiny red apple. One rainy afternoon, she knocked gently on the cottage door. "Poor dear child," whispered the old woman, "would you like a delicious apple?" Snow White hesitated for only a moment. Then she took a single bite, and instantly she fell into a deep, magical sleep. When the dwarfs returned home, they found Snow White lying peacefully still beneath the candlelight. Heartbroken, they placed her inside a beautiful glass coffin surrounded by flowers deep in the forest. Days passed until one morning, a young prince traveling through the woods discovered Snow White sleeping beneath the sunlight. He had never seen someone so peaceful and beautiful. The prince leaned closer and kissed Snow White softly on the forehead. Suddenly, the spell was broken. Snow White slowly opened her eyes. The forest filled with laughter, birdsong, and golden sunlight once more. Snow White and the prince returned to the kingdom together, where peace and kindness finally replaced jealousy and darkness. And Snow White never forgot that even in the darkest forests, kindness and hope can still lead us home. The end.